This content is for adults only and those 18 years of age and older. Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. Anyone and everyone that I speak about in this video is innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. Anything and everything that I say in this video is not to be taken as fact. It is to be taken as speculation until proven otherwise. Now let's get into today's video. Even after doing missing persons cases for as long as I have been, it still amazes me that even today, a lot of children come up missing and no one thinks about them for years, sometimes even decades after. This is the case of David Williams. If you want to know more about this case, please continue watching. And it's just so many questions that I have.
Memorial sign.
It makes you really
Is on the run.
And I bet he would run after what he's done.
A number of people.
The FBI is offering a reward. What was the order of events?
Never stop looking.
Police are now questioning a number of people.
David Williams was born October 9th, 1962 in Newark, New Jersey. At the time of his disappearance, he was 12 years of age. He had black hair and brown eyes and stood at a height of 5 feet tall and weighed 113 pounds. He is, of course, listed as an African-American male, and at the time of his disappearance, David generally wore a helmet to protect his head as he was an epileptic who had seizures, I'm guessing, on the regular because he had to take medication for those seizures daily. And without that medication, he could have a grand mal seizure. And he was last seen wearing a blue jacket and striped pants. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Now, the striped pants confuses me because it could be white stripes or black and white stripes, black and red stripes, or what have you. So they do not give the exact detail of color of the stripes, but it just says striped pants. And like I said, he wore a helmet because he had seizures. And he was 12 years of age at the time. And he was last seen with a young man whose name was Stephen Anderson, and he was 17 years of age at the time. Now, the facility that they were at was known as the Libberton Developmental Center, and that is located in Burlington County, New Jersey. And on April 7th, 1975, both boys lived at the 1,896-acre center located off Route 72 in New Jersey, in the New Jersey Pinelands. They had diagnosed developmental disabilities, and this is what led them to being at that facility. And these two boys were roommates, and they were unable to care for themselves without proper supervision. And the boys were last seen approximately at 4:15 p.m. walking back towards their residence from a nearby ball field where they had been playing with staff members. Now, I wonder if there was somebody that had possibly made their way onto the campus grounds without the staff noticing and possibly lured the boys away or lured them into the woods and then were able to get them to leave the campus with them. And it had to be somebody that they were familiar with, because why else would they have not made any noise or, let someone know that, hey, there's somebody over here trying to whatever, get us to go with them to get candy or go with them to get a puppy, because even a child is going to be excited and say, ooh, whatever the case may be, toys, candy, a dog, or what have you. Adults use these things to lure children away. And most times the child is going to say, oh, okay, well, let me go and, get my hat or my lucky glove or something. You never know. And then they might see somebody and say, "Ooh, this person, they offered me, a dog," or whatever the case may be. So I'm pretty sure that, it had to be somebody that they knew in order for them to go with them. But I am worried about, both of them being developmentally delayed, and so therefore they might not have had all of the thought to be able to even, say, "Oh, let me go and get something," and then, Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. An age progression of what he would look like today at the age of 64 years old. And remember, he went missing back in 1975 at the age of 12. So of course he would look a lot different today, and that age progression might be a little something what he might look like today. I would like to know what exactly were David's developmental delays or his developmental delay condition. I know that a lot of things that are given names today, they did not have names for back then, but I wonder if he was maybe ADHD or ADD, or was he just like on the spectrum, or was it a little more severe? I mean, I wonder what his conditions were. And I wonder what his family members felt about putting him in that facility, now knowing what they know, meaning that he would go missing, after he was placed there. I wonder how they feel about that, and what were their thoughts going into placing him into a facility. Or was it one of those or was it one of those situations where when you are, I guess, a certain age, things are starting to become more clear to the parents, and you might not even be a year old, or might be a year old, and, they might take you to a doctor and say the doctor might say something along the lines of, "Yeah, I noticed that there are some developmental delays." And, back then, depending on how bad the condition was, they would suggest that you put your child up for adoption, or, better yet, put them in a facility such as this. And I also wonder how many kids went missing from this place before David went missing, and how long it took the police to look for them, as well as it took the police to start looking for David and his friend that he went missing with as well. I wonder how long those investigations and searches took before they actually, put boots on the ground and, took some shape, or, have people actually out there looking for these kids. I wonder if David and his roommate or slash friend were seen as, two of the more difficult kids, and maybe some of the staff couldn't deal with that, and they just didn't know how to let the parents know. So they decided to allegedly, and I'm hoping this is alleged because I don't have any proof of this, but they decided to get rid of them, and they just dropped them off somewhere. I'm wondering if that's what happened, because I just don't see them leaving with someone that they don't really know. And I'm guessing that if that was a school or a facility where these kids lived, that was a pretty secure facility for the time anyway. And I don't think they would just let someone walk on and off the campus willy-nilly. I just don't see that happening. But I could be wrong, though. And another theory I have is that usually when situations like this happen, there's usually a bad situation that is behind it or underneath it all. Like, for instance, in the case of the Turpin children, they were, a big family of children, but they lived in what is now known as a house of horrors. And I'm wondering if that was something similar that was going on inside this school. And I wonder if the school had ever been, inspected or what have you for misconduct of the children, or somebody possibly being unalived or unaliving themselves at the school. I wonder if it was something like that, because that's the only other reason that I could see that would make a child want to run away. And I also wonder, what is this school like today? Has it cleaned up its act? Is it still open? Do they offer, stricter security protocols now? Like, what is the, what have they changed over the years, besides becoming more technologically advanced? Of course, what else have they changed over the years about their protocols? Because like I said before, I don't see a place like this being a great place and then the children just up and run away. I don't see that as something that is happening unless they have what is now known as autism and they just ran off. But I don't see that as, something that could have possibly happened when they were last seen walking back to their residence after coming from the ball field where they had just played ball with staff. But, that has to be something that I wonder about as well. Like the conditions inside the school, were they ever inspected? Were they inspected after David and his roommate went missing? Are they even still in operation now? I think when I looked it up, they are still in operation, but they have 2 different locations. So that might be that they are still open. So I just wonder what their family feels now, knowing that, they placed them there and then they went missing. Keeps going on and on in my head. But unfortunately, guys, that brings me to the end of today's video. If you like today's video, please don't forget to leave me a like. Please don't forget to leave me a comment down in the comment section below. And if you are not subscribed, before you leave, please make sure that you subscribe, because it helps the channel out more than you know. And it helps get our videos out there so people can know more about these cases and know that they exist, so people can start looking for these people and hopefully bringing them home to their family, friends, and loved ones. But until next time, guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one.